So you've got 150 bucks. That's your budget for a new phone, and let me tell you, the market for that price is a total battlefield. In one corner you have the heavyweight champion, Samsung, with its brand new Galaxy A06. The name alone carries a ton of weight. In the other corner you have a whole pack of hungry challengers, phones from Tecno, Redmi, Infinix, and itel, all promising you more specs, more power, and more value for your money. So, where should you put your cash? Do you go with the trusted brand name, or can one of these underdogs actually deliver a knockout punch? Today we're settling it. This is a 5-round championship fight for the budget phone crown, and we're gonna find out which of these phones is the true king of the sub-dollar 150 category. First impressions count for a lot, and in the budget world, what you get inside the box can be the first major win. Let's start with the challengers. You open up a box from Tecno, Redmi, Infinix, or itel, and they hook you up. You get the phone, a clear case, a screen protector that's already on, and most importantly, a charging brick. They give you everything you need to get going right out of the gate. It's a statement, and it says, "Thanks for your money, here's a complete package." Then you get to Samsung. You open the Galaxy A06 box and you find the phone, a SIM tool, and a USB-C cable. That is it. No charger, no case. Now look, Samsung says this is about cutting down e-waste, and that's fair. But if you're on a tight $150 budget, this feels like an instant loss. You immediately have to go spend another 15 or 20 bucks just to charge your new phone. In this first test, the challengers take a clear point. Now for the phones themselves. Honestly, holding them, they all feel pretty solid for the price. It's a sea of plastic, which you expect, but the build quality is decent all around. The designs, though, are telling different stories. The challengers are usually a bit flashier, with big camera bumps and interesting textures. The Redmi 14C has this really bold circular camera module, while the others play with glossy patterned finishes. They're built to get noticed. The Samsung A06, on the other hand, is the definition of low-key. It looks like a Samsung. You get clean, vertical camera lenses, a simple textured back that helps with grip, and a design that feels a little more mature and minimalist. It doesn't scream at you, but it feels solid. But here's a critical detail you won't find on a store display. The challengers, they don't have any official water resistance ratings. You get caught in a downpour, you're rolling the dice. The Samsung Galaxy, a 06 5G model, however, comes with an IP54 rating for dust and splash resistance. This is a massive, real-world advantage that you don't see on the spec sheet. The standard 4G model, unfortunately, doesn't get this protection. So who takes this round? The challengers absolutely win on what's in the box, but Samsung, specifically that 5G model, punches back with a more durable, splash-resistant design that could save your phone one day. It's a split decision, but that IP rating gives Samsung a serious edge. Alright, let's turn these phones on because the screen is where you live. All 5 phones have big 6.7-inch displays and they're all 720p resolution. Look, at this size, 720p isn't razor sharp. If you look really close you can spot the pixels, but for day-to-day stuff it's perfectly fine for the price. The real battle here is smoothness, the refresh rate. And this is where things get interesting. The standard Samsung Galaxy A064G model is stuck in the past with a 60Hz screen. It works, but scrolling through Twitter or your home screen feels basic. This is where the challengers used to have a huge lead. Phones like the Redmi 14C and others in this price range are now shipping with 90Hz displays. The difference is night and day. Swiping and scrolling is so much smoother, so much more fluid, and it makes the entire phone feel faster, even if the chip inside isn't any better. It's a huge quality of life upgrade. But just when you think the challengers have this round won, Samsung has an answer. While the base A06 is 60Hz, the Galaxy A06 5G model steps up with a 90Hz display, matching the competition. It puts them on a level playing field. The jump from 60 to 90 is where you feel the biggest difference, and Samsung is right there. So, what's the verdict? The challengers made 90Hz the new standard for budget phones. Samsung's base model is behind the curve, but the 5G variant brings it back to a dead heat. We'll call this one a tie. This is where things get technical. What's actually running these phones? You're not getting a speed demon for $150, but you need something that can handle your daily apps without making you want to throw it against a wall. At the heart of the challengers from Tecno, Infinix, and itel are chips like the Unisoc T606. They're perfectly capable entry-level processors for social media, YouTube, and some light gaming. They get the job done without much drama. Over in the Samsung corner we have a split personality. The Galaxy A06 4G model runs on the MediaTek Helio G85. It's a well-known chip, and its performance is right in line with the Unisoc processors. It handles daily use fine, but if you start pushing it with a lot of apps or demanding games, you'll feel it slow down. The Samsung Galaxy A06 5G, however, is a completely different animal. It has a much newer, much more powerful MediaTek Dimensity 6300 chip. This isn't just a small step up, it's in another league entirely. The Dimensity 6300 is faster and more power efficient, making everything from opening apps to playing games feel noticeably snappier. But then there's RAM and storage, and this is where the challengers land a solid punch. For around $150, brands like Redmi and Tecno are giving you 4 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. Samsung's base A06 often starts with just 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage. Let me tell you, 64 GB of storage in 2025 will be gone in a flash. So, who wins the performance round? It's complicated. If you're looking at the 4G base models, it's a draw on power, but the challengers give you way more storage for the money. But if you can find the Galaxy A06 5G, it is the undisputed performance champ here. That Dimensity 6300 wipes the floor with the competition. This round goes to the Samsung Galaxy A06 5G. For a lot of people, this is the round that matters most. Everybody wants a phone that takes good pictures. On paper, this looks like a five-way tie. All these phones are rocking a 50-megapixel main camera, usually with a 2-megapixel sensor next to it that doesn't do much. The selfie cameras are all around 8 megapixels, but specs mean nothing in photography. The real magic is in the software. So, we took all 5 phones out and shot in daylight, indoors, and in tough low light. In bright daylight, all 5 phones can take a decent photo for your Instagram feed. The colors are punchy and the detail is fine. The differences appear when you start pixel peeping. The challengers, especially phones from Redmi and Tecno, tend to produce slightly sharper, higher contrast photos. They look a little more processed and ready to post, which a lot of people actually like. Samsung's approach is more natural. The colors are usually more true to life, though the pictures can sometimes look a bit softer as a result. For selfies, it's the same story. The challengers often go harder on the skin smoothing, while Samsung aims for a more realistic photo. The real test is when the lights go down. And here, every single one of these phones struggles. That's just the reality of budget cameras. Pictures get noisy, details get muddy, and everything looks soft. But in our tests, Samsung's software did a slightly better job of cleaning up the noise, giving you a slightly more usable photo in a bad situation. For video, none of these are winning any awards. They all shoot in 1080p, and the stabilization is pretty minimal. It's fine for a quick clip, but that's about it. So, who wins the camera round? Honestly, it's the closest round of the fight. There's no clear winner. It really comes down to your personal taste. If you want that sharper, vibrant, share it now look, you might lean towards a challenger like Redmi. If you prefer a more natural image and slightly better performance when the lights get low, the Samsung A06 just barely edges them out. We have to call this round a draw. The final round. Let's start with endurance, and here, it's a completely level playing field. All 5 phones pack a huge 5000 mAh battery, which is the gold standard. Any of these will comfortably get you through a full day of heavy use. You can scroll, stream, and text without worrying about finding an outlet. The difference is charging speed. The challengers usually support 18W charging, and they give you that charger in the box. The Samsung Galaxy A06 supports faster 25W charging, meaning it can juice up that big battery a lot quicker. But, you guessed it, you have to buy that 25W charger yourself, so it's a trade-off. Faster charging potential on the Samsung versus a free, slower charger from everyone else. But the real fight here isn't the battery, it's the software. And this is Samsung's knockout blow. The challengers run versions of Android that are often heavily skinned. They can be full of bloatware, ads baked into the interface, and come with a very questionable future for software updates. You might get one major Android update, maybe 2 if you're really lucky. Samsung is playing a different game. The Galaxy A06 runs on their Clean One UI software, but it's the asterisk promise asterisk that changes everything. The 4G model gets 2 major Android OS upgrades and 4 years of security updates. The A06 5G gets an even better deal, a mind-blowing 4 major Android OS upgrades and 4 years of security updates. That is unheard of in the budget market. It means your $150 phone will still be getting new features and critical security patches 3 or 4 years from now, long after the competition has been completely forgotten by their manufacturers. This is the knockout. A phone isn't just specs on a sheet, it's something you rely on for years. Knowing your phone will stay safe and up to date gives you incredible long-term value and peace of mind. For software and longevity, Samsung wins this round, and it's not even a contest. So after 5 rounds, who's our champion? Let's go to the scorecards. The challengers, Tecno, Redmi, Infinix, and itel, put up a hell of a fight. They win on out-of-the-box value, giving you a charger and case. They give you more storage for your money and a fast screen. Who are these phones for? If your budget is locked at exactly $150 and you just want the most specs for your money right now, a phone like the Redmi 14C is a great pick. You get more storage, a 90Hz screen, and you're good to go the second you open the box. But then we have the Samsung Galaxy A06. On paper, especially that 4G base model, it looks like it gets beat on points. Less storage, a slower screen on the base model, and no charger. But who is the Samsung for? It's for the person thinking about a phone's value, not just on day 1, but on day 1000. The A06 5G model, in particular, fights back with a much faster processor, a smooth 90Hz display, and that splash resistance rating. And then there's that final crushing advantage, the software support. Getting 4 years of OS and security updates on a phone this cheap is a total game changer. It means the phone will last longer, stay safer, and feel fresh for years to come. For that reason, our ultimate champion is the Samsung Galaxy A06, specifically the 5G variant. It signals a shift in the budget market. It's not just about having the most impressive spec sheet, it's about delivering a reliable, secure, and long-lasting experience. The challengers offer you a great deal for today, but Samsung offers you value that lasts for years. That's my take, but this was one of the tightest fights we've ever seen. What do you think? Would you go for the specs of the challengers or the long-term promise of the Samsung? Drop a comment below and let me know which phone you choose. And if you love these tech showdowns, make sure you're subscribed and have the bell on so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.